What if one of the greatest inventions of the 20th century, a super material that could have literally changed the world, was created by a hairdresser and then just vanished? Well, this is the story of that invention and the incredible mystery of why you've probably never even heard of it. Now, this wasn't some theoretical idea stuck in a high-tech lab. No, this was a real, physical substance with the power to completely rewrite our understanding of heat resistance. And the most amazing part? The inventor proved it worked, right there in front of everyone. And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The story of Starlite isn't just about a remarkable invention. It's really about the very human reasons it disappeared. So, let's start piecing this incredible puzzle together. Okay, so first things first. Was this all just smoke and mirrors? Well, not according to the evidence. The proof of Starlite's power is actually pretty compelling, and it all kicks off with one almost unbelievable number. To put that into perspective for you, we're talking about a temperature nearly twice as hot as the surface of the sun. Any normal material would just be vaporized instantly. But if you put a thin coat of Starlite on something, it was supposedly left completely unscathed. Now, a claim that outrageous, well, it demanded one heck of a demonstration. And this is it. This is how most of the world saw Starlite for the very first time. On the BBC show Tomorrow's World, the inventor coated a raw egg in this stuff and then just blasted it with a blowtorch for 5 straight minutes. And the result? The shell was barely even warm, and when they cracked it open, the inside was completely raw, totally uncooked. It was a perfect and frankly brilliant way to show off its power. And let me tell you, this was so much more than a clever TV trick. The world's leading material scientists were watching, and pretty soon, huge organizations like NASA and British Aerospace were running their own tests on samples. Their conclusion was unanimous. Starlite was the real deal. So, who was the genius behind this miracle material? This is where the story gets even more fascinating. The inventor wasn't some PhD in a corporate lab. He was about as far from that as you could possibly imagine. His name was Maurice Ward. Now, by day, he was a hairdresser from Yorkshire, England. But by night, his passion took over, and he became this brilliant amateur chemist, just experimenting endlessly in his home workshop. Yeah, this wasn't the product of some billion-dollar R&D lab. It was born from the curiosity and ingenuity of one man. It's a classic outsider genius story, which is also a really crucial clue to understanding what happened next. You can see the timeline here shows this rapid, stunning ascent. After he invents it in the 80s, Starlite just bursts into the public consciousness in 1990. And by the early 90s, the world's top scientific organizations had confirmed it. A hairdresser's home invention was truly revolutionary. The stage was set for it to change everything. But it didn't change the world. And the reason why brings us to the most frustrating part of this whole story, the human element. The science worked perfectly, but the trust, that didn't. This right here was the core of the problem. Maurice Ward was absolutely terrified that the moment he revealed his secret formula, some massive corporation would just steal it, cut him out, and reap all the rewards. He was determined to protect his invention at all costs. And this paranoia, it translated into these impossible demands. You had companies like NASA that wanted to license the technology, but Ward just wouldn't budge. He wouldn't give them the recipe. He demanded a 51% ownership stake, terms that no major corporation would ever agree to for a technology they couldn't fully understand or control. And so, this great stalemate began. On one side, you've got the biggest aerospace and defense companies in the world, ready to write these huge checks. And on the other side, you have one man from Yorkshire holding his secret tight. Progress just ground to a complete halt. Which brings us to the tragic final chapter of this story. Because, well, stalemates can't last forever, especially when they depend entirely on one person. In 2011, Maurice Ward passed away. And in what seems like the ultimate act of guarding his secret, he apparently took it with him. Now, his family has claimed that they have the formula, but in all the years since his death, they've never produced a single sample, never performed a demonstration, never had it verified. As of today, Starlite effectively does not exist. The real tragedy here is what the world lost. Just imagine safer spacecraft reentries, skyscrapers that could resist any fire, better protection for soldiers on the battlefield. This wasn't just a missed business opportunity. This was a potential loss for science and for human safety on a massive scale. So in the end, we're left with two competing theories. Was Starlite a genuine breakthrough, a world-changing material that was buried by one man's profound distrust of the system? Or was it a clever concoction that just could never be mass-produced, with all the secrecy being a way to maintain the mystique? The truth, well, it might be lost forever. And that leaves us with one last big question. In the story of Starlite, was the real villain the corporate world that Ward feared so much? Or was it something more fundamental, maybe one person's own paranoia and pride? It's a question that goes way beyond a lost formula, touching the very heart of how great ideas either change the world or just fade away into mystery.